means for regular folks out there instead of just big-time investors. Our good old friend Brian Amidei here
hey,
from
Dan.
Hightower Investors. How you doing?
How are we? Good.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
You're the expert. That's why I called you and said,
yeah, I appreciate it.
Explain this twofold. One, what the heck happened?
Sure.
And then two, tell me how it affects people that can actually invest in the market.
Yeah.
And then for regular folk who don't have big investments, I want to know how's it going to affect me.
Sure,
Gas prices,
sure.
my milk, what's going, my 401k,
right.
things like that. So what happened, number
one?
Well,
there's a couple things that are coming into play here. One, China is a problem, and China's been a problem for quite some time. The biggest problem with China is they're not exactly forthright and honest with their economic data that's coming out. So what's been happening is China has basically been growing at 7% annually. That's what they've been saying for the last couple of years, yet they've been lowering their interest rates. A couple of weeks ago, they actually reduced their currency by their own admission, by their own doings. They reduced their currency twice. They devalued their currency twice in a week. So they're desperately trying to pick up their economic growth, which then tells you 7% probably isn't where they're at. Most economists at the middle of last week probably had their growth pegged at 5% and going down, but it could be even as close as 3%. Now, why is this a problem? China happens to be the big behemoth of all the emerging markets out there. So you don't think of a country that has 1.3 million people or 1.3 billion people in it as an emerging market or as an emerging economy, but yet they are. And China's making a shift right now from a government-driven economy to a consumer-driven economy, and that's not going without any pain. So earlier this year, the Shanghai index was up over 50% in the first 3 months of the year. It started trading off a month and a half ago, 3, 5, 7% at a time, which puts shockwaves into other areas of the market in Asia and things like that.
And we saw that obviously when the markets on Friday started to decline. They opened today. Okay, so we've seen this with China in all kinds of facets as far as that.
Well, one other thing I think it's important. Commodity prices, because China's not growing as much as it was. China was really the tail wagging the dog on the commodity side. So a lot of these emerging market countries that are very heavily dependent upon commodities, silver, copper, gold, all the different things, concrete, wood, they're suffering as well. And so this is the ripple effect you're seeing from China, is not only in the economy and not only for GDP, but also for commodities. That's where the real problem is.
And the biggest thing when we go back to the beginning, it's transparency. This is a country that's not very transparent.
No, that's not in their guise. That's not the way they do business.
And this is kind of what caused this. They were over-evaluating, thinking that their dollar would be worth more or their currency
would be worth more. They thought their economy would continue to grow. Unfortunately, they've been building these ghost cities over there for quite some time.
I've seen that.
And your infrastructure building can only go so far before you actually have to have a pickup. So, just like anything else, the European markets are usually about 3 years behind our markets. So we saw them go into recession just about a year and a half ago. And that was perfectly normal after the recession we had in 2008. It's not uncommon to have the emerging markets go into recession shortly after Europe and the other developed.
It's a market correction.
It is totally a market correction. So this is, believe it or not, a ripple effect from the blow up we had here in 2008. It's just gotten all the way over there now, and things are going to take time.
That's why we now say we're all in a global economy.
Oh, very much so.
20, 30 years ago, America didn't have to worry about that. Now we do.
Yeah, so the bigger question is you have to ask yourself, how is that going to affect us here?
Yeah, and
is there anything that happened?
I got to pause you for a second. Got to get to some other stories. Hang out. Next half hour, that's what I want to know.
You bet.
How is it going to affect me, my 401k, my goods, services that I'm purchasing?
Absolutely.
And also for the investors. I mean, there's plenty out there watching.
I think it'll be interesting.
Okay, we'll talk about that in about 25 minutes.
You bet it.
Stick around. Appreciate it.